Okay. Should be coming up live here momentarily. Just going to wait as usual for that little dude to change to something other than a 0. And I'm going to be right back off. 1 second. Okay. All right. I'm going to adjust my angle of my camera slightly. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, that's good enough for now. All right, so looks like we have some people online now. So here we go. So as usual, starting off with, I'm going to go through the bosses. I think my image is on the wrong screen. It is. Okay, so this is one of the 2 bosses for Air Month. That looks to be Air Earth, I think. And that is a reused boss. They've used this one before. And that's the new boss, which looks to be Air Spirit, I think. Again, I will double check. Or not Air Spirit, I'm sorry, Air Water. But I'll check that in a bit. I think that's Air Water, though. So that's the 2 bosses. There's the head of the one and the head of the other. So this one definitely looks more Air Earth, and that one looks more Air Water. So image number 3, boss 1, image number 4, boss 2. There we go. So there's our bosses. Copy that into this folder here. Alright, now we're going to go through the armors. So I have briefly glanced at this, but not like in a lot of detail, so I just kind of perused it all, just to kind of notate what all was in here. Let me grab my little notepad I wrote this down on. So we have one Air Earth, so that's it, just one. And it's the raid armor, I believe. I'll double check, but I may have to go through this again just to be sure. 1, 2 Air Spirits, 1, 2 Air Fires, the dual air, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Air Waters. Looks like we're having another event as well. But anyway, moving on. So this is one of the 2 armors. So this is the raid armor, the one I mentioned. It's the reused boss. This is the Barrel Blast, I think it was called originally. So that is armor number 1, and that's Air and Earth. So that's raid armor number 1. I'm pretty sure that's male. Looks to be. And that's the female, so that's handy. Right next to it. Hey, welcome, welcome. Got some new people on, it looks like. Cool, cool. Always good to have new people. Alright, and here is one of the Air Spirits. This is a new armor, or at least new-esque. I kind of... these do have some reminiscence to the old Epic and Dragon Forged armors, somewhat. I haven't looked at them, like I said, in too much detail, but if I zoom in here, you can kind of see this one a little bit better. There's the head of that one. This one does have some kind of similarities with some of the older armors, but my zoom, for some reason, is not working. Weird. But this is the first of the Air Spirits. There's, I think, 2, if I remember right. Yeah, there's 2. So this is Air Spirit number 1. And there's one of the other... So that first one, of course, the raid boss armor is a reskin. This one is another reskin. This was called the Incinerating Aegis originally. I think it might have even been Air and Fire at the time, too. It was a war armor, I think. So this one is the same... I think it's the same elements as the original armor, if memory serves, but it's just a different kind of look. It looks more air instead of more fire, which it was more fire the last time. So this one is... Oops, I didn't mean to close it. Armor 3, Air Fire. That is, I'm pretty sure, male. And there's a step down from Ascension on the male version, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm not 100% positive on that. That could be female. I don't know. It's hard to say. But for some reason, my zoom... There we go. Just was being dumb. Didn't want to zoom in or out. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so this is just a step down from Ascension. I think that actually is the male, now that I look at it. Might not be, but I can always fix it. And here's one of the pets. Now, this is... reminiscent of previous pets. Danish, how's it going? Um, it's reminiscent of older pets, but it doesn't really look like any real pets before. It looks like a bird, which of course air month makes sense, and with wings. This is tier 5, I'm pretty sure. These are bigger images than we normally get. This actually has the pet assembled on it, which I have not actually seen a whole lot in the past. So if you look here, this is the kind of the body right here, and this is like the body like at an angle when it's attacking or something. There's the head and the arms and the wings and everything. But I have not seen it fully assembled like that in a long time. So this is one of the pets, and I'll come back to this in a minute. But okay, so there's number 6, or image number 6. That's the same Air and Fire, but the female version, I believe. Yeah. There's the. That is okay. That well, I did not make a mistake. So that was in fact the male I was looking at earlier. I thought was the male. It was. So this is the Air and Spirit. This is the female version of the same armor. And here is one of the 2 event armors. So this looks like a jester, like a court jester in an old, like medieval times sort of environment. There's a jester here with a jester head and jester shield. There's another armor that looks just like this. This is the golden variant. So just like we had with this past event where we had the golden version versus the regular. This is the, I'm assuming, I don't know for sure what this is for since this is April. And St. Patrick's Day would have already gone by. But I don't know what this is going to be used for otherwise. But this is one of the 2 event armors. So this is air and water. Does not look distinctly air water, I realize, but it is air water because it has the air swirl and the water droplets. So weird. But anyway, this is armor. This is event armor number 1 of the 2 that I think is male. That looks like a Pokemon. It kind of does actually. This is another one that kind of looks very reminiscent of the Epic and Dragonforged sort of armors. I don't know if it looks exactly like them or if they just kind of based it on that. They did the same thing the last Air Month. They did them the same way. They had the armors that were the exclusives and the exclusive and the seasonals were all based on a previous Epic or Dragonforged armor. So these are very similar to those in that respect. They have a very kind of old school look, I guess, is the best way to describe it. So this is armor number 5. This is air fire as well. So this is probably going to be a seasonal, I would think, since they don't usually use reskins for seasonals. That's the male Evo 2. There we go. And this is another air spirit. I'm not sure. I think this might be a seasonal. Again, I'm not positive, but it looks like seasonal-esque as far as that looks like. I don't know. Just to me, it does. It has some similarities to previous armors, but it looks like it's not so much of a reskin versus like more of a restyle. So again, I think that's male. But yeah, so this is Air Spirit number 2, and I prefer this one of the 2, given the choice. So this is number 6, Air Spirit. I'm fairly sure that's male also. There's the female version of the Air and Water event armor. There's the, actually no, I made a mistake. That actually is not the male. This is actually the female. The one I thought was the male was actually not. This one is the male. Okay. That is the male version, but the base of the first raid armor. We haven't even gotten to the second one yet, and we're already almost finished with the first one. Welcome, Glob Reckless. Just saw you following me there. Just wanted to welcome you into the group. Okay, now this is tier 4, I believe. I'm actually going to create a folder and just move these out as I come across them, because that's not 8 and 15. And there's Flam Flam. Welcome. And there's another one, so that's actually three in a row almost. Okay, now we're back to the armors. So this one, again, is a step down from Ascension of the Air and Fire, the Incinerating Aegis, originally. So that's, where's it at? That one right there, I believe. Yeah. So that's that one, and it's the male. So 17 is the male, but one step down from Ascension. Why is it not going back there? Goofy thing. And there's the female of this very first raid armor, and that's the base. So that one's done, other than the head, ring, and amulet. And here is our dual air. So this one, I wanted to zoom in a bit. I normally zoom in with my mouse, but it's not like consistently working for some reason. I'm not sure why. My mouse is possessed. So this is the dual air. So this head does have some kind of similarities to previous ones we've had in the past, but the shield is completely new, the armor looks to be completely new, and the weapon also looks to be completely new. But this is the dual air exclusive. This is the male. So that's it right there. And of course, I'll assemble it in a bit and you can see it in more detail, but that's the dual air. And this does look familiar to me in some way. I'm just not sure what exactly it is. Maybe it's an old Dragon Forged or an old Epic. I don't remember, but it does look very similar to another armor I've seen in the past. So that's our dual air. There we go. And there is the air and water, the non-golden version, the event non-golden version. So this one is, and I believe that's female based on the waist. This is the non-golden variant, so this is what it would look like when it's not the golden version. Audio isn't working? Can everybody else hear me? Hello, hello? Mention in the chat if you can hear me. Because obviously I can't really go on unless you can. And there is a bit of a delay, of course, so... Okay, so it may just be you, Panda. Okay, yeah, it may just be you, Panda. It might just be something on your end. Maybe the connection isn't good or something. I'm not sure, but others are saying it's working fine, and I haven't had anybody say there was a problem prior to now, so... It might just be your connection. Okay. So this one, again, like I said, is the event armor. This is the non-golden version, so this is armor number 8. That's air water also, and that's the female, I'm pretty sure. And there's the male, so yes, it is. Okay. It could be your connection. It could be volume on whatever device you're using. Maybe your headphones aren't plugged in all the way. I don't know. I mean, you can mute. I believe if you just turn on the Twitch channel, it's muted by default. Like if like you open it up on a computer, for example, it mutes it by default. So you have to actually unmute it by clicking on the speaker, little icon thingy in the bottom left. I didn't even think of that. I'm glad somebody else did. Okay, there is that's the female, number 4, but one step down from Ascension. Here is the air and spirit we saw earlier. I think it was this one. Yeah, it's that one. So this is a step down from Ascension. That's the male version also. And there's another pet, so 24 can be moved. There we go. 25. Now this is one of the air waters, but this is a, I'm thinking, let me think here. This is going to be probably the fusion armor, because air water would have been previously the exclusive. But with the change to dual element, now they're the exclusives and the air waters are fusion instead of vice versa. So this one is likely to be our fusion armor. I kind of like the antler looks to this. Kind of a cool looking armor. Alright, and that's armor number 9, air water. There's that one. And there's the air fire we saw earlier, which I think was this one. Yep. That is the correct one, and this one is the female of that one. That's the air spirit we saw earlier, which does have some similarities on the head anyway to that, I think it was called Violacious Great Hammer, I think, or something like that was what it was called. The head looks kind of similar, but the armor itself doesn't really look that similar otherwise. So that was this one. Yeah, that's this one. And that is the male, but it's not Ascended. It's the step down from Ascension. So it's actually a Evolution 1. There's the air spirit at the top, but that's the female one step down. And that is the raid armor. So it is air earth. You can see kind of that bird shape on the shield. It's kind of a dead giveaway. So that's the second raid armor. Coincidentally, armor number 10 and armor number 1. And it's the order they just come out in the files. Is the raid armors. So coincidentally, the first and the last are the raids. There's another pet, and it's very distinctly a bird. That's pet number 3 or 4, I don't know. And that's the same one, but the female. Excuse me. That's the female of the air and fire. I think it was this one. Yeah. Same one, but I think it's this one instead. Yes, it is. Okay. So it's evolution 1, but female. There is the male of the first air water. I think it was this one. Yes, it was. But it's the non-golden, or the non-ascended. There's air fire. I think it was this one. Yes. Okay. That's the male. One step down. And that's the male one step down, this very last one here. And at this point, it's mostly just kind of putting them all together. So air was number 7. This is the female variant of that one. There's the air spirit. That's the female, I believe, of this one here. Yes. That's the female. One step down from Ascension. There's the base of the male of the first event armor. There's the base of the male of the air and fire up here at the top, I believe. Yep. Just making sure, because inevitably when I don't check, that's when I screw myself up. Okay, that's the female air fire down here. Yeah. So that's the, I believe it's this one. Yeah, it is. Just making sure again, because I have named them like base when they're not base, or evolution 1 when they're not, you know, that kind of thing. I do it all the time. So I'm just doing it again just to make sure I'm not screwing myself up. I believe that's the female of this one? No, wrong one. Armor number 9. There we go. Yep, same armor, just the male version, or female version, excuse me. There's air and spirit. That's the first one up here at the top. But that is the male, I believe? Yes. Okay. It's the base of that guy. There's the female here at the bottom, but it's the step down from Ascension. My phone's buzzing at me. I'm trying to figure out why. Oh, never mind. It's the Twitch notification is now just showing up. They were on the screen like 5 minutes ago. Okay, that's the female of the second air water. I think it's this one. Yes. Alright, there's the dual air, but that's a step down from Ascension. I believe that's the male. I think. It's hard to tell on these sometimes. Like the chest plates aren't as obvious. That actually looks kind of more wide. Maybe that is the female. Yeah, maybe that is the female. It probably is. Nope, I was wrong. That is in fact the male. Okay. This one has a much more narrow waist on it. There we go. And there's the base air spirit. I believe that is male. That was this one here. No, bottom one. That one there, yep. There's the one I just looked at. That's the male base of, actually the female base. Yeah, female base. I was right, just wrong gender. Right armor, wrong gender. There's the air water, and that is the female of number 9, I believe. Yeah. Female evolution 1. And male evolution 1. That was handy. There's the base of the raid armor here at the bottom, male version. There's air and fire, that one right there. That is the male base version. Male of, I think it's 8. Yeah. But it's the male one step down from Ascension. There's the golden female up here at the top. I think it's this one, if memory serves. Yes. So that's the male version of that one. Or female, rather. I already have the male. There's the air spirit right here. And I was wrong. That one is, in fact, the female. So I'm glad I checked. Oops. Copy. Thank you. That's the female. And this one here, number 55, is the female. Is the male. There we go. Much better. Okay. There's the base of the air fire at the top, but the female version, if memory serves. Nope, not that one. This one. Yep. Cool. Alright. There's the base of the female here at the very bottom. I think we're just about done. Other than, I think we have a couple more of the dual airs and this air fire. Alright. So that's the air and fire right here. Yep. Okay, there's the base of the air water. I think it's this one. Yes. That is the male, but the base version, level 1, up to level 50. There's the air and water at the bottom. That looks to be the male. There's the dual air. That is, I think, the female of that one. Let me grab the male really quick while I'm on the topic. That one right there. I was wrong. It was, in fact. I did it again. Actually, no, I didn't do it again. Because that one is the male. Yeah, I did do it again. That one's actually the male. And then 64 is the female. There we go. Okay. Let me just start back here so I don't lose track of where I was. So that's air spirit, or excuse me, air water. That's the male base of this one. I think I did the same thing here. I did. This is the male. Oh no, I didn't do the same thing. This is actually the right one. This is the female. Never mind. Okay. And the last one here at the bottom, which is the event armor, but the female version of that one. And now we get into the wings, or the cape, whatever term you prefer. So this one looks very distinctly like, it looks almost like petals from a flower, in like a cape format, or a, I don't know what you'd call it. Like, it looks more like a cape than like wings. I guess some of them have definitely looked more like wings, but this one looks kind of more like wings, but they call them capes anyway. So that's what that one looks like. So we have this left-hand side, which is the flared out version, or the version that you'd see when you're in battle, versus the one that's when you're at rest. So it's kind of more relaxed. And for whatever reason, there are two pictures that are identical, and then the actual like kind of avatar look, which is just then kind of that armor sort of holder with the wings attached. So you make a folder in here called cape, and those three right there, 65 through 67, are those. So, whoops, I actually didn't want to leave that folder yet. This is cape. I'm going to copy that really quickly over to here before I forget. There we go. All right. Now we're going to go into the heads. So this one is the air and spirit. I think it was this one. Yes, it is that one. As far as heads of armors are concerned, that's one of my favorites, to be honest. It's just cool. Just cool looking, I think. This one is that. Yep. This one has almost like watery antlers to it, which is also pretty cool, I think. There's the air and fire, which I think was this one. Yep. There's the dual air, which again, it looks, I'm trying to place what that looks like. I think it's a dragon forged armor, if memory serves me right. But I can't think of the name. But it has been restyled. It's not the same look anymore, obviously, but it's been restyled. But it looks, that looks similar to me to another armor I've seen it before in the past. Just can't place it. I think it was dragon forged, but I'm not positive. So that's our dual air, which is armor number 7 here. There's the air spirit. I believe it is up here at the top. Yes. This one again also looks similar to another armor I've seen. I just can't think of what it is. I think it might also be dragon forged, but I'm not positive. There's the Incinerating Aegis reskin, which is, I believe it was originally air fire also, or fire air, whatever. There's the first of the event armors, which I think was this one. Actually, no, this is the golden version. It's number 8. That was the non-golden version. So that's armor number 8's head. There's armor, and that's the one I just looked at. That was the very first one, which was this one here. Yeah. So there's the golden version, just like we've had in the past with the golden versus the regular. There's the Barrel Blast reskin, which has actually been used. It was Barrel Blast originally, which I think was water and air. And then it was Darth's Soul, which was a raid armor as well, which I think was water fire, or fire water. And now this one's air earth. So it's the same armor. It's been used 2 times previous. And I think they've also maybe used the head on another armor, maybe? I can't remember. But that's the raid armor there. And the first of the 2. And there's the second of the 2. Armor number 10 at the bottom. And that's it. So now we got pets. So we've got 78. Oh, hang on. I forgot about these. I forgot these were in here. I glanced at them and noticed them the first time. We have elemental unicorns. All the different colors of the unicorns. So we have the regular pet, which is kind of like a bird-shaped looking thing. So let me actually just get these all out of here really quick and I'll show you. So 78 to 92. Okay. 78 to 92 are all pets. Okay, now we have this ring right here. Was actually recently reused. This was the ring for the dual fire armor. Was originally the Incinerating Aegis amulet. The dual fire we just barely had just a couple months ago. That armor though, the dual fire, the dual air helmet. Yeah, give me a second here. Let me pull it back up. My zoom on my keyboard, my mouse, I'm scrolling up right now and it just doesn't like responding like it should be. Let me zoom in this way. It'll probably work a little bit better. So that's the helmet there, the head for the dual air. And that right there, just in this particular section, just this kind of this mohawk shaped thing, as well as the face kind of having almost like a smile to it, I've seen before. I just can't place it. I think it's Dragon Forged. I could be wrong. But just that kind of that section right there. Not kind of the little wings on the sides, but I'm trying to think of what it was. It might have actually been a Shadow Forge now that I think about it, but it's been a while. It's been a while since this was armor was in the game anyway. Anywho, so that's the Incinerating Aegis reskin, which is this one here. Flock of Seagulls here too. You just dated yourself, Danish. You just dated yourself. All right. That's the amulet there. Okay. Now that one is new, and I wish my scroll would work. Why is this not working? 1 second. I'm actually going to disconnect my battery here entirely. Just give it a second. It's been acting funky for a few days now. I think it might just be the batteries, honestly. Just need to be replaced, but I'm going to try it out for a little bit longer. I do have a spare set here just in case, but it's just not like it's not scrolling, like it doesn't want to scroll. It's really bizarre. I don't know why. Like if I go into here and scroll up and down, it works there just fine, but it won't zoom on the image. Like it kind of does, but doesn't at the same time. It's weird. So that, I think, yeah, I'm scrolling here, scrolling up and down in this very window. But this one, I can't scroll in and out to zoom, which I could literally just like an hour and a half ago. It's bizarre. Anyway, that one I think goes with, where's it at? Where's it at? I think is it this one? No, not that one. Oh, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, it's the wrong color scheme. Face looks very similar though. Let me move this over here. Yeah, it just won't zoom. I don't know what the hell the problem is. It's bizarre. So, it does have kind of a similar color scheme to the face, sort of. Like the colors are kind of similar. But it doesn't really look like the armor really all that much otherwise. So maybe not that one. Maybe not. Let me look here. No, that's a reskin. I already know that one, what that one goes with. Oh, it's probably this one. I don't even know why I didn't look at it. Yeah, it looks just like this one. It's very, very similar color scheme. Yep, I'm pretty sure it's that one. Pretty sure. It does in fact have a very similar kind of motif on the shield. I like to look at like the shield, the waist, the belt, you know, the front of the armor down here by the legs, as well as the weapon, just as kind of my reference point, and sometimes even the shoulders are a giveaway. But it does have a very similar look and feel to that, like it has the same sort of hooks and things right here on the side, so I'm pretty sure it's that one. For the time being, I'm going to say it is, unless I find something that looks much more obviously matching. Okay, oh, ring, head, what the hell are you doing? Okay, that is the raid armor at the top. That's the original ring that went with the armor, just recolored, of course, to match. There's the amulet that goes with it. Handy dandy. Which looks just like the shield. Okay, this one is an amulet. And I think that goes with... No. Well, no, again, wrong color scheme. Doesn't look quite right. Looks more like this one. Right here. It definitely has more similarities as far as the color scheme with this one. Although it does have this big, like, kind of crystal little ball thingy in the front of it that doesn't look quite right. But it does look very similar to this one, just much more spirit kind of colored. But again, the color scheme kind of matches up. It has the same kind of goldish looks to it and the same kind of blue, light blues and purples and things on it. Well, more purples, I guess, than anything, but it does have very kind of a very similar look and feel to this. And this does have these kind of like little crystal ball thingies like that at the end of the arms, or the shoulders rather. And it does look similar to the weapon in that respect too. So again, I'm going to say, just for the lack of argument, or for the lack of anything indicating otherwise, that this is the amulet that goes with it. Okay, moving on. This one is another amulet, or another ring, but that one, I think, goes with this one instead. It definitely is much more reminiscent of that one. Like it has more of the darker kind of colors, like this one with just a little bit of a golden kind of accent to it instead. This looks like it's much more fitting with this one. To me, anyway. I mean, I could be wrong. I have been wrong, actually, several times in the past, so it's entirely possible I'm wrong right now. But this one just looks like it fits better. Because it has the same kind of, like, you can see these dual edges here. And if you look at the head, it has the kind of the same sort of color scheme to it. Like it has a darker and a lighter and a darker and a lighter there. I mean, they're very similar in that respect. So I'm going to assume, again, without anything to the contrary to prove me otherwise, that's the ring for it. And there's the Incinerating Aegis Reskin's ring, which is this guy right here. Nope. Top one. There we go, that one right there. That's the ring for it. Same ring recolored. That's the air and fire I was just looking at. I don't even need to zoom in on that one, I can tell already. Looks just like the shield. Yeah, very similar to the shield in fact, but it's fire instead of air looking. Makes sense, because it's an air fire. And the amulet matches the second element. Okay. And that one is one of the event armors. I'm going to come back to that one. That's the ring for the same armor I just looked at. That's another one of the the event armors. That's the amulet, I think, for the other air and spirit. I'm pretty sure. This one right here. Again, it has the same kind of dual colors like the head on this one does and the weapon does. Very similar kind of feel to it, with just that little bit of golden accent in the middle. But it doesn't look exactly like it, which is what kind of is throwing me off, because usually there's something on the armor or the shield or something that's a dead giveaway that's like, oh, this looks just like the shield, it looks just like the shoulder, or, you know, whatever. This one doesn't look exactly like it, but the color scheme and kind of the theme of it matches. The color scheme and theme of the look of that thing just looks like it matches up to it. So we're going to say that is that one. Whoops. Did I rename the wrong one? I did. Son of a... Ugh. I hate when I do that. I did rename the wrong one. I renamed the wrong one twice in a row because I said I was going to come back to it. Crap. That one is the right one. That one's the right one. That one's the right one. That one's the right one. That one is... that one is the right one as well. What's the one I just did? I gotta think now. What did I just do? That one's right. One of them I just renamed. I renamed the wrong one. Okay, let me close this. Because I had 2 of these back to back, and I renamed one of them. Okay, I did rename one. That one's right. That one's right. That one's right. Just double checking. And that one's right as well. That one's right. That one I can already tell is right. And that one's the air fire. That's fine. Is this one? No. Okay, where did you go? Because that's one of them. Oh no, it's that one. I just renamed that one wrong. Okay, so that's the air and fire. Okay, I only renamed one wrong. I thought I'd renamed more than one. Okay, so I need to make sure I click on the right one, which is 102, not 101. There we go. Now we're back in business. Okay, we'll close this and start fresh. Ugh, freaking myself out for no reason. There's the 2 event armor rings, and that one is an amulet, which I believe goes with, yeah, that's the one I was just looking at, the Iron Spirit. This one right here, I think. Yeah. Okay, back on track. I just got to make sure I'm not renaming the wrong ones, and I just about did it again. Okay, that one is the air and water, I believe, because it has kind of the antler look to it. Yep, same antlers that this air and water right here has. I believe that's the right one. Yeah, should be. That's the ring. And that... oh crap, I think I did the wrong one. I think I may have gotten the wrong one. Okay, let me look at the amulet. So I know that one's fine, and that one's the one I'm concerned about. This one right here. Because the amulet should look more spirit. Yeah, this one definitely looks more like that armor. Has the same kind of like sort of cross shape that the shoulder pauldrons have. And that right there. It's the exact same shape on the shield. And then it has these same kind of rocky bits coming off the top with the little flames. So that one actually is not the right one. This one right... Where'd it go? Ah, crap, I lost it. That one right there is in fact not the right one. We're going to rename this one as Image 100. Throw it back down at the bottom. And this one here, which is 106, is actually the right one. There we go. Fixed. Cool. All right. I was afraid that might happen, but I wasn't quite sure what was going on yet. Okay, so this one might actually be the amulet for this guy. It's possible. Didn't really look at it that closely. This armor, I mean. Oh, what do you know? Looks just like it. Imagine that. Okay. I'm just being stupid. It's the same shoulder. It's the exact same shape that's right there on that shoulder that's right here. Okay, so it's water, not spirit. Fair enough. Okay. So this one is the air and water. Whoops, nope, air and water. That one right there. That's the amulet for that. Alright, much better. Ring. That's the raid armors. This one right here. Yeah, it looks just like the shield. Okay, good. Just wanted to be sure. So this one here is the amulet for that one. And that one, I believe, is the ring. Looks just like a bird. Yep, that's the ring. So that's easy. Okay, cool. Now we have this one, which... okay, I did make a mistake. I've got them all wrong here. That one looks like... Not that one, it's the other air and spirit. I did the air and spirits wrong. Yeah, that's actually not the right one. I think it's actually... Yeah, looks just like this armor. If I zoom in to right there, looks just like the chest plate. Derp. Okay, so this one is in fact not the right ring. I'm going to rename that one as Image 99. And Image 101, or not 101, 109, is actually the air spirit ring. So I may have just gotten some other ones crossed in my head as to what they should be. Okay, so we'll come back to that one. There's an amulet. Okay, so there's the amulets for the events. So this one. Okay, now I got to go back to the other air and spirit. I may have messed that one up too. This happens sometimes. I'm not, Did you miss the exclusive, Joanna? No. Well, yeah, yes, and no. But I'll be assembling it here in just a minute. I'm just doing organization at this point, matching up rings and amulets with the armors. Okay, so armor, zoom in, move you over here, and this is much more reminiscent of this armor. Much more reminiscent of this armor. Does in fact have a very similar style right to the front of that. And it's this one. It's got to be this one. So yeah, I think it is this one. Because it has the same kind of like shape there, and the little diamonds at the ends of the leg covers, and the head and the weapon. It looks all way too similar. So I have that one wrong as well, apparently. So this one here is wrong, and 112 is that one instead. I'm going to get this eventually, I promise, once I pull my head out of my butt. Okay, so let's skip that one. I'm going to get the event armors out of the way really fast. So this one is I think it's this one here. Yes. So the non-golden version, that's the ring for that one. I'm going to skip ahead to the non-golden amulet, which is 110. Okay, now we're going to jump back up to the first, which is the golden one, which is that one right there. Those are a little easier to figure out. So that is armor, let's see, image number 103 is the ring. And 111 is the amulet. Done. Done, Dunsky. Okay, cool. So, let me check my list here. So I've got my raid armor at the top, that one's done. Air and Spirit, that one's done. Air and Fire's done. Air and Water, which is the event armor, is done. Air and Fire for this one is also done. Air and Spirit here, I'm not positive on that one, but I'll come back to it if I'm wrong. Dual Air, we still need that for the Air and Water. I'm pretty sure that one's already good, because that's the other event armor, the non-golden. And then we have this one, which was the kind of that antler-looking Air and Water. And then we have the Air and this one right here. So what we have left then is that one, which, well, let me look at it. I was going to say it doesn't look distinctly like it, but it kind of does, now that I look at it. Okay, yeah, I'm smoking large quantities of crack, apparently. Looks just like this armor. So this is the dual airs. There's the dual air for you, Joanna. This is the ring for it, because I didn't pay attention to the fact that it's not a strictly air-looking armor, because it has a lot of colors on it besides the standard sort of, you know, silvers and whites you'd normally see. So there's that. Nice of me to pay attention to my own work here. So that's number 99. That's the ring for it. And I'm assuming, based on that, this is the ring or the amulet for it. So let's go back up to. Whoops, I went too far. There we go. Oh, hit the wrong one. One too low. There we go. So let's zoom in on this one. And it does look very reminiscent of the base of the weapon and the shield. So yeah, that looks more or less just like it, actually. Looks like a shield. Okay, cool. Yep, dual air is not distinctly dual air looking, which I'm kind of actually okay with. Okay, now we have 5 crafting materials. What they're going to be used for and in what way, I have no idea. So this one, I'm guessing is probably going to be a regular crafting material, either seasonal or exclusive. This one, it looks like a D20 for anyone who's ever played Dungeons & Dragons. It's this 20-sided die. That's probably going to be for the event. There's a Jester head, definitely the event. There's a sword. Looks like, to me, it's probably one of the seasonal or exclusive. And then this arrowhead-shaped thing, which I don't know what that's for. So, of the 3, I'm not sure. The one that looks like the dice, the die is probably going to be one of the event materials, along with the Joker head, the Jester head. I just don't know of the other 3 what they're going to be used for yet. So that's that. So these are the materials. Season 45. Okay, we're going to do S. Actually, I'm going to name these. I'm going to say this is other Mat 1. other mat 2. And I'm going to say that this one right here is probably going to be their arrowhead, excuse me, is probably going to be also part of it. I'm just guessing on that one though. I can't say for sure. But I'm just going to say it is for the time being. And then these first two, which are... Oh, I hit the wrong button. I canceled out my navigation. So I'm going to say for now, again, I can't guarantee this is accurate at all. That's material 1, and this one is material 2. Which one's seasonal versus exclusive, I don't have any idea. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take the rings and amulets and heads, like I normally do, and we're going to drop them in that folder that I created for next month, along with the pets and cape pictures. Back up to here, paste. Alrighty, so there's that. Alright, back up to here. We're going to start assembling these puppies. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I'm going to do a bit different this month. I'm going to do them all the female versions instead of the males. Haven't done that yet. Figured why not. Oops, I didn't want 6, I wanted 5. There we go. Edit. Give that a minute to load. It always takes a minute to load if I haven't used it recently. And of course, now that I say that, it's going to load it twice as fast as it normally does. How the hell did I get a pet in there? Okay, did I name something wrong here? I definitely did. That's craptacular. Lovely. Hang on a second, I got to fix that before I move on. Was it this one? Which one was it? Oh, I moved, apparently, the wrong image into this folder. It's not that one at all. We're going to call this one image 7, just to keep it kind of consistent. That's it right there. I just renamed the wrong one. Groovy. Okay, move you back out into here. Fixed. Cool. All right. Derp. All right. So yeah, let me try this back up. Let me open this back up again. Okay, so armor 1 is this one. Armor 2, armor 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. All right, and this is again the order they came out in the files. I'm not naming them this way, any particular thing, but welcome, Chameleon. Oh, you're not that late. We've only been going for about 45-ish minutes, something like that. Well, 45 where people have actually been on the stream. 47-ish since I started, because it usually takes a couple minutes for everyone to get the notifications and get connected and all that good stuff. All right. And Zoom, for whatever reason, works here just fine. Just wasn't working in the images for some strange reason. All right. So this is our first armor. Like I said, this is one of the raid armors. This is the Barrel Blast and Darth's Soul, I think it was. Just a new version of that. It's air and earth now instead of being water-based, because it was water-based both of the last 2 times. And I am doing this one with the females. I actually mentioned this, I think it was last stream, that I might do something like that. I might like try different poses with them, or I might do females only and males only. I don't know. So this time I'm doing the female ones instead of the males. And that looks to me like it should go on top of that. That is really bizarre. Let's try it, see what it looks like. No, I can't really go. I guess I can erase that, but that doesn't look right to me. Nope, I'm gonna go bind it. I may just have to erase part of this. Well, no, it actually doesn't look that bad. I had this problem with the original armor too. It just didn't look right to me when I put it together. There we go. I just didn't have it lined up, apparently. Okay. Where's the arm? Where's the arm? There it is. All right. I always like the look of this armor. I mean, even though they've had now, this is the 3rd version of this. I still like the look of it. I think it just looks cool. So there's that armor without the shield and weapon added to it. Because the shield on this one is humongous. It's one of the biggest ones of all the armors that I've seen. It's just huge. The only one that's bigger is the Color Spray Lancer, the one we had just recently as a raid armor. It was Fire or Spirit Fire, I think it was. But this is another one of the big ones that's just huge. Covers up the entire arm. Like, you can't see any of the effects there at all with that shield in place. Although I do like this weapon. It's just this big hammer-looking thing. I like big hammers, like the Terabot and this one and a few of the other ones that have really big hammer weapons. I like hammers. They look cool. I mean, I like swords too, but I got too much of an angle on that end. I got to redo that. Started cutting into the shield's image on my layer there. There we go. Sometimes I have to blend these wrists in just a little bit. This one doesn't look too bad though. No, not bad at all. Okay, now I got to kind of clean this up just a little bit, because I've noticed that if I don't, the rest of the handle or the hilt doesn't blend well when I put the rest of it on there together. Okay, let's try this one out, see how this looks. Oh yeah, that blends much better. Whoops, went too far in. Right there. There we go. So there's that. Air and Earth, one of the raid armors. I had a lot of people ask me the last few days, especially since we're in Earth Month now, about the raid armors for this month. And I was told after the fact that the Earthfire armor will remain looking Earthfire, but the elements will in fact be Earth Spirit. So in case anyone was still confused about that, the armor will in fact be Earth Spirit, but it will still look, the boss and the armor will still look Earthfire. Just in case there was any confusion still about that. 285. I made that way too wide. I can go 280. There we go. That's much better. Kind of center that in there a bit. Now, go back out to here. I'm doing females this time, I have to remember. Haven't done this before, so this is kind of new for me. I do assemble them later on in the month, because I just like to have them all assembled. It's just something I do. I also help to maintain the images. The guy who did the data mines before me, Yafed, I help maintain his site, and his site actually has the same information that the wiki does, but it has the availability to put in every evolution of the armor instead of it just being only the evolution that, like the final evolution that I put normally up on the wiki. So I do assemble them all just so I can put them all up on there so people can look at the individual images if they want to. And speaking of which, if anyone's curious what that site is, it is, looking it up really fast, I can never remember the URL. I believe it's KND.umbrasheep.com. Let me pull it up here and you can kind of see. I haven't updated this one. I actually need to load all the rest of the spirit armors in and then load the rest of the earth. So this is his site right here. It's KND.umbrasheep.com. It has all the armors in there. So if I go to this one, for example, if you go to this page, it shows the base of the female or the male, depending on which one you want to view. And then you can just move to the right to look at the next step up, female versus male. And you can do the finally ascended versions, female versus male. Oops, I need to go that one over one more. So there's female versus male. They're not a huge difference, but you can still see the same basic information that the wiki has. But it shows also the evolutions of the armors, visual evolutions of the armors. So the base, the first evolution at level 50, and then the second evolution when you hit Ascension. So anyway, in case anyone was curious, I do assemble them all for that very reason. But I don't usually assemble them until we're partway into the month, because I don't really need to do it then until, prior to that point. So there's that armor. That's kind of a cool looking armor. I don't like the fact that there's no head in it though, to be honest, because it looks kind of funky without the head. But this one doesn't have a head, kind of like some of the other armors we've had recently that don't have, or I shouldn't say it doesn't have a head. It doesn't have the knight's head inside of it to fill in that blank area. So it looks a little funky without that, but some of the recent armors we've had have had similar kinds of things going on with them. So there's that one. There's the first of the air spirits. It's pretty cool looking, I think. That one also does kind of remind me of Epic and Dragonforge looking armors. Shield. There's the shield. This one's also a humongous shield too, but not as big as the last one. Still cool looking though. I like that effect. And then we have this big axe looking thing that has the same kind of white flames coming off of the weapon, which is pretty cool too. And this one is going to be a pain to line up. Massive weapon, yeah. Some of them, the weapons are honestly a bit ridiculous when compared to the rest of the armor. It's like, really? You had to go that big with it? I mean, it's still cool looking, don't get me wrong, but some of them are a bit extreme. This one does match up with the armor nicely, though. Just looks a little larger than I would have maybe gone with myself. Still cool looking, though. All right. Zoom out on that one just a little bit more. There we go. Got some severe lag going on here. My computer is not happy at the moment. Probably just got too many things going at once, as usual. Okay, so that's about 255-ish. Works for me. Got to remember, this is not this is not the male versions of these. Let me just jump back here really quick and make sure I'm not messing something up here. Oh, I didn't get the head for the air spirit. That's what I was missing. Okay, I knew something was wrong. Something didn't look right. Because when I save them, I usually have, like, those three without the one I'm saving, obviously, in the list. But I didn't have the head, so something looked wrong to me. So air, fire, amulet, head ring, all the way down. But I was missing one, so it looked wrong to me for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why. No, I know. I just didn't have that in there. Alright. Here's the Incinerating Aegis. Reskin. Which, again, I think was originally... it was either air, fire, or fire, air. And it was a war armor, if memory serves me right. So the elements are the same, but the look of the armor has changed because I believe it was fire-air in the first place. Now it's air and fire, so it has more of an air look to it with fire accents instead of vice versa. But it does look, in my opinion, better than the original. There we go. That. Some of these are really, really easy to line up. Some of them are more of a pain because it's not really clear where one, like the chest plate should match up to the legs. I can never remember what those are called. These kind of front plates here. There's a name for them. I can just never remember what it is. Oh, nope, wrong. Gotta move that up one more. There we go. So this one comes right up against that neck, pretty much. So there's that one. Before I add anything to it, because this one again has another humongous shield, which looks kind of like almost like a skull to me. Like it looks like there's eyes here going down to a nose to the chin. Maybe it's just me. There's that, because this shield again is humongous and it needs to kind of go roughly about there. And it's got this like spear-looking almost weapon to it, which I also like. Right about there should be good. Then I have to just blend in that wrist a little bit. And then take the edge off that just a little, because that helps to blend in the rest of the handle, the hilt, whatever word you prefer. Makes it look a little nicer when it blends in there. Because when I bring this in, that little piece right there matches up to there. So I just want to make sure that it matches up nicely and cleanly. And that's pretty much exactly what I wanted. Cool, cool. Alright. Okay, so let's move back up here. Right about there should be good. And width-wise, 275. Looks good to me. Stream view keeps buffering. Oh. I've actually found that watching Twitch streams in particular, I don't know why it is, I've actually had the same problem myself. When you watch a Twitch stream on mobile, it doesn't always keep up, I guess is the best way to describe it. It can't really keep up with the video and the audio at the same time. It'll sometimes keep playing the audio even though the video freezes, so it's hard to say. I've had the same problem myself, so I always try to, whenever I'm using it, or using Twitch, or whenever I'm viewing Twitch, I always try to do it on a computer, or a tablet at least. For whatever reason, the cross-communication that happens, the back and forth between what you're seeing and what's being sent to you versus what you're receiving doesn't always keep up. So that's probably what it is. But you said you're moving to your other phone, so see you in a moment. 3 fire. Okay, there's that one. Now we have the first of the event armors, which looks like a jester, which again I'm not really necessarily against or for. I'm kind of iffy about the whole thing because we've had events roughly every 2 months since Halloween. So we had Halloween, we had Christmas, we had the Year of the Rat in February, and then we had, and then we're having one coming up, this one coming up here. So this will be March, or this one. So we had October, December, February, April. So once every 2 months. The only drawback really to these kind of events, at least to me anyway, is that if you're not in like the top scoring guilds, pretty much every event, you either have to farm for days or get really lucky in chest draws, I guess. I don't know how people can really do it without being, like I said, in top events, like top scorers in events or raids or whatever, getting max milestones all the time. I really don't know how you could do it otherwise. With me in particular, I didn't even get T3 because I just didn't have the time to devote to it. I think I got T3 on one account and I didn't bother on the rest. I just used them for materials in the limited shop. I know a lot of people actually did the same thing. Because even though the stats are good for this last one, especially because it was a good element combination, which this is also, but it was more work than it was worth, really, in my opinion, anyway. I just didn't really see a point to it, for me, anyway. Your mileage may vary. Okay. There's the hand. Gotta blend in that wrist a bit too, and this weapon is looking like I definitely need to work on that one too, because it's not quite where I want it to be. It's a little bit too much of the bleed over there of the I don't know what you call it, like a halo or whatever, around the weaponry and around the armor. It has this kind of blackish tinge around the outside edge. If I don't at least get rid of some of that, it just doesn't blend in well. So I bring this up here and match it up to that right there. Is that right? Looks right. Let me zoom out. Yeah, looks good. Cool. So if I don't blend that, if I don't delete some of that, it doesn't blend and doesn't look right. And it bothers me. It hasn't really bothered me up until just recently when I really started noticing it on some of the ones that I'd done. It didn't look as clean as I wanted it to. So I'm spending the little bit of extra time that's necessary to get it more clean. More clean looking, I should say. That's 300. That's a wide armor. Not a whole lot of armor is that wide. This is armor number 4, and this is one of the event armors, as I said before. Okay, and here's the first of the air fires, which this one also is kind of, to me anyway, has kind of a reminiscent feel to the older Dragonforged epic days. Just has kind of more of a crisper, sort of cleaner look to it. I think is the way that Legion said it, and I agree with him. It looks just kind of more clean and a little bit more crisp in the look. And this one has a little bit of bleed over on the edge of this helm. That does happen on occasion too, for some reason lately. It's almost like they hired the art team that used to do the old Epic and Dragonforge designs. I mean, I could be wrong on that, of course, but it looks almost like that. They look very reminiscent of the older armors. This is going to be fun to line up. I should go just a little bit more into that side. There we go. That should be good. These ones that don't have the face entirely covered are a bit harder to line up sometimes. Just checking the chat, making sure people aren't asking me questions. Okay, so there's that one. That one actually lines up pretty well. There we go. And the arm, which has these kind of flames erupting out of the sides and top and all that good stuff. There's a little bit of bleed over on that knuckle. I'm going to have to clean up. I guess I don't have to clean it up, but because it's going to be covered by the shield anyway. There's that one. Kind of cool looking. And with the change to the air and fire rings and amulet sets and their set bonuses, this one was not going to be as quote-unquote bad as it used to be with the air fires, being notoriously bad for being glass cannons. The only ones being worse really were fire fires, but they're, again, no longer having that issue, so that should be right about there. And then this weapon, it looks like another big axe, or almost like a mace, sort of. Okay, there's that. There's just a little bit of wrist to clean up there, not a lot. Yep, there we go. And again, just take the edge of that off. Clean up the edge just a little bit. So this goes into it a little bit more cleanly. So I can pretty much do just like that. It lines up perfectly. Is that right? Looks wrong to me. Because it is. It should be like that. There we go. Okay. Looked a little off. Come on, stop scrolling so much. There we go. Okay. That's about 250 on the nose. It's pretty close to square, actually. Pretty close. Okay, now we're moving on to the last 5, which is going to be our exclusive. The second air spirit. And then the other event armor. And the raid armor. Oops, I don't need to copy them. I need to edit them. There we go. Alright. So this one is 6, 7, 8. I was going to say that there's no way that came out in order. They never do. And for some reason, I've had this frog in my throat all day long, and I cannot seem to get rid of it. So I keep clearing my throat over and over again, so apologies for that. Just apparently the weather warming up is making my allergies go bonkers, and I can't clear my throat to save my life. All right. Lining up some of these sometimes can be a pain. Even with the completely covered face, it's still sometimes a pain to line up that head just right. Because you can't tell how far it's supposed to jut out over the chest versus how far it's supposed to go in. So, that looks pretty good though. Alright, then we have this, which is going to go right about there, I think. Even has kind of a cutout section, that's handy. If you look right there, it pretty much matches up perfectly right there, so that's kind of handy. Although I think I have it off by just a titch. Yeah, right about there. Okay, cool. Alright, then we have arm, there it is. This is another one with a humongous shield, so this arm's going to be almost completely covered. So I like to show people what it looks like prior to putting that shield over it and covering it all up, because sometimes these arm and shoulder effects are pretty cool looking. Like that one I like. I like that one a lot. It's kind of these like flary, like white flame looking things coming off the side of the front of the head, as well as off the shoulders. And it also comes off of the shield, of course, of the weapon, but you can see those much more obviously than you can the arm, because it's covered by this humongous thing. And there it goes. It just covers up so much of that. It's kind of a little sad that it's just gone, because you can't see it anymore. Whoops, too close to the edge. There we go. This one also has a humongous weapon on it. I don't know why that thing right there is that color, because it doesn't match at all. Which means I have to pretty much delete all of that, because it doesn't need to be there. Kind of strange sometimes when they do that. Okay, there we go. This one I also need to clean up that edge too. Has some of that kind of darker outline on the outside edge, just like the other ones did. It has this big old long handle on it. This is going to go right about here. Perfect. Does make things look much nicer with that edge kind of cleaned up before I bring the rest of the handle in back behind it. Alright. This one's also a pretty wide one, I can tell by the size of the weapon. It's pretty wide as well, side to side. 280, yeah. Not the biggest I've seen, but definitely one of the larger ones. Okay. Okay. Now we have the dual air. Let's see what this puppy looks like. That has a little bit of bleed over, you can see right there on the far right side of this little wing. That little bit of kind of, it looks the same. It's like two layers that are kind of right next to each other. Or not layers, but pixels, basically. Not sure why that happens. It's been happening a lot more lately than it ever really has in the past 3 years almost I've been doing this now. They did it a lot actually with the older like epic and legendary armors. There was actually quite a lot of that, which is why I kind of got the feeling that they have some of the old team back that used to design the armors, because it looks very reminiscent in that respect, because there's the little bit of bleed over that I mentioned and I didn't erase. Let's try that really quick. Okay, that needs to be kind of cleaned up. Let's unselect that. There we go. Just a little bit. There we go. Much better. But it has the same kind of bleed over. You can see on that. There's also a little bit on the bottom of this kind of skirt looking thing that wraps around the legs right there. There's also a little bit of it there, and that was more common back in the days of epics and legendaries. It wasn't common as much with Dragonforged and after. In fact, I don't remember a single Dragonforged having that. So this is a new thing just in the past few months with Shadowforged. It's almost like they have a new team entirely, which I'm pretty sure they don't, but it kind of feels like at times that they do. Okay. So there is, let's see, where's that at? Right about, it is right about there. Okay, cool. So there's that. There's the dual air. So there's our exclusive. If you're still on, Joanna, I'm not sure you are. There it is. And that's even the female version. So there's that. So let's go back out to the shield, which has the same bleed over on both sides. That's just bizarre to me. They don't have that. They don't have that really at all in any of the previous seasons up until about the last 6-ish months, maybe? 5, maybe? I'm not sure. I have to clean that up too. Let's see, where's the center? Right about there. And that's going to bug me, so I have to clean that up because it's on the outside and you can see it. This one you can't really see as well, but I'm still going to clean it up anyway. Just a little bit there. And I do like the look of this armor pretty much top to bottom. And I like the fact, like we were talking about earlier, it doesn't really look like a dual air armor. It definitely has air elements to it, obviously, but it doesn't really look like a classic dual air. The previous ones have had very distinctly kind of that crystal white and silvery colors to it, you know, kind of looking like air would normally look. And this one doesn't have it. It's like it has an entirely different look to it, which in a lot of ways I like a lot. I didn't clean up that edge. Do I need to? Yeah, I do need to. Just a little bit, not a lot. And we will drop this back behind here. Gonna bring it in right about there. And there we are. There's our dual air. Okay. Gotta get that up in the same corner area I try to get them all up to, roughly. What about there? Okay. There we are. Now we're going to move on to our second event armor, the non-golden version, the regular version, if you will. And I have no idea what this is going to be for. I think I said that earlier. Because Halloween makes sense, because it was, you know, a Halloween-themed armor, and Christmas makes sense, because it was kind of a Christmas-themed armor. And then February with the Year of the Rat, even though the Year of the Rat actually started in January, it was still, you know, it made sense to the time frame. St. Patrick's Day will have already come and gone by the time this armor is available, so it can't be anything like that, I don't think. Yeah, I really don't know what they're going to use this for. Could just be, you know, springtime. Who knows? Not sure. But it's only really springtime for people who live in the northern hemisphere. For people who live in the southern hemisphere, it's fall. So, I don't know what the plan is. April Fools. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's so dead obvious. I should have thought of it. Duh. Okay, so there's that. April. The 1st of April. April Fools. Yeah, it does seem obvious. As soon as you said it, I'm like, oh, duh. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's pretty stupid of me to not even have to register that. Well, like when I did the last one, when I did February's live stream, and people were like, "Oh, blah blah blah, you're the rat." I'm like, "Oh, duh, Chinese New Year." Didn't even think of it. Didn't even cross my mind. But it was obvious because it was a rat armor with rat crafting materials, and you know, Asian, like the what was that thing, that symbol? I think it was not sure if it was kanji or kana. Or not, sorry, not kanji or kana. I think it's just kanji, I think, in Chinese, but Japanese has both kanji and kana. But it's the lettering anyway. I'm not sure what it was. It was Chinese for something. I'm not sure what it was, but anyway, sorry, got off track there. But I mean, it was obvious that's what it was for, but I didn't dawn on me at all until after I had finished the stream. People were like, "Oh yeah, Chinese New Year." I'm like, "Oh, duh, I'm an idiot." As soon as somebody said that to me, I was like, "Oh, stupid." It was literally a facepalm moment because I literally smacked my forehead. I went, oh, you stupid. Why would you not even think of that on the live stream? It's not like, you know, some obscure thing that no one knows about. It's not like some obscure regional thing that if you're only from that part of the world, you know about it. If you're not from there, you don't. It's like, yeah, Chinese New Year. Pretty common. Bonehead. I felt like an idiot after that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm stupid. Don't mind me. Okay, so there's the non-golden version. Thanks, by the way, Blitzkrieg. Appreciate it. I shouldn't be so stupid, but sometimes my brain doesn't function, doesn't fire on all cylinders. So, I'm just a derp on occasion, no matter what I do or try to do. Okay, there's that one. 305. Alright. There we go. Right about there. 8? Yeah, 8. I had to think about it for a second. Alrighty, and here is this one. I think is probably my favorite armor, other than the dual air. This is my favorite looking armor, I think, in this month's data. I do like the dual air a lot, but I think I like this one just a little bit better. But I generally like all air water armors, so not really that much of a surprise. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I do like the look of this armor quite a lot. Just has a cool color scheme and a cool look and feel to it. Right about there, I think. That's a hard one to tell. Like if you look at this, the chin would be roughly about here. So I'm trying to just gauge where this should go. I think right about there should be good. Hard to tell on some of these where they should go. It's not always as obvious. But that is pretty obvious where that one goes. It goes right about there. I have to look up what those are called. The pieces that go over the legs. I can never remember the names of them. But I've seen them. I've seen the name somewhere before. I just can't think of what it is. I want to say bracers, but bracers are the parts that go in front of your legs, like in front of your shins. Or bracers. No, sorry. Bracers are the parts that go on your wrist. Like the little mini shields that you see like strapped to people's arms. Those are called. Those are called bucklers. Sorry. It is a bracer. Never mind. Sorry. Getting my terms confused in my head here. Bucklers are the little mini shields that go on arms. If you've seen many medieval movies or anything like that, they usually have bucklers. Some of the people that are wearing them, like the knights that are wearing them. There we go. That head just looks a little funky to me because there's no like the face isn't covered. Tassets. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'd seen the name before, but I thought it was bucklers or bracers. Maybe bracers are bracers actually are the ones that go over your forearm, that cover up this section of your arm. Bucklers are the mini shields that would go on top of a bracer. So yeah, I am thinking of the wrong thing. This looks wrong to me. I don't know why it looks wrong to me. Come on, stop it, you dumb thing. It looks like it's not lining up, and maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just the look of the armor. The shoulders are like almost shoulder pad height. They're huge. It just looks funky to me for some reason. I'm usually pretty good on my terminology when it comes to armor. It's actually a bit of a, not really a hobby per se of mine, it's just something I find interesting, which is why I like armors that have a very kind of classic knight's armor look to them. This one being kind of along those same lines. But it's something I try to brush up on and keep familiar with because it's something that I talk about apparently frequently. Just can never remember the words. Derp. Okay, where's the handle? There it is. I don't know if I need to clean this edge up much. Yeah, I think I need to just a little bit. Alright, there we go. And we're almost done with the assembly process, and we can start working on the armor sheet itself. Right about there. There we go. Oop, too far. Too fast. Right about there. There we go. Okay. This one's going to be much taller, I think, than the other ones. Not as wide either. 250 by... Oh yeah, it's actually taller than it is wide. That's not that common. Not common at all. So accustomed to hitting the M when I'm doing the armors. I keep hitting I keep hitting M when I should be hitting F. Just kind of gotten into that mode of doing these and don't think about it. Kind of become muscle memory at this point. And then I go, oh wait, sorry, these are the female ones, not the male ones. So I can just stop doing that. And I do it almost every single one of them. Okay, so this is the bird boss looking thing. And like I think I said this before, I prefer the ones that have the closed-in face because it's much easier to line up where the front of that mask, like the chin area, would go on the armor. The ones that don't have a face covering are a little harder to gauge sometimes, which I think I've said like 5 times now in this stream. Okay, there we go. That one lines up nicely. And where's the arm? Top right corner as usual? Yep, pretty much. I always seem to hide in that top right corner. It's probably 9 times out of 10 they're in that top right corner when I gotta look for them. And there is the arm. Should be right about there, I think. Let's see. Yeah, right there. There we go. So there's that one. That's raid armor number 2. That's the air and earth one. Or excuse me, air and water one. Air and earth was the reskin we looked at earlier. And I'm glad they've been doing pretty much, not every single month, but most months they do pretty consistent San Diego chicken shield. If you say so. I don't know what that is. But they've been doing more new armors, or at least restylings, as opposed to just flat reskins, than they have in recent memory. I'm assuming that's probably a sports reference, saying San Diego chickens. I don't do sports, so I don't get the reference. So, not that I have something negative to say about sports per se. That doesn't interest me. Never really has. But I'm assuming that must be what it is. Some kind of sports reference, probably. Mascot. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so I was right. I was on the right track. Sports related anyway. Didn't understand what it was, but I at least got the sports part right. Okay. And there's our last armor. Padres. Okay. Baseball. I know that much. I know Padres are baseball. But that's about the extent of my knowledge. There we go. Had to pause for a second there before I hit the button again to hit M instead of F. Okay, let me go back to my folder here and look at the size of the last one because it had 10 armors in it too, which is that one right there. So let's see, this is 1450 wide. Okay, so let's do a new 1450. Let's do 1200 just to give myself a little bit of room. All right, we're going to do a new layer. I'm going to do a box at about the 350 mark. Right about there. Down to right about there. All right, let me look at my armors here. I'm just in the wrong window. Okay. Okay, so that one, see, this goes over the top of it. It does, I think. No, it goes behind it. That's not what I want. I want it on top of it. But not like that. There we go, much better. I want it just over the line. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Oops, I did it twice. Do not need 2 copies, thank you. What the crap? That was bizarre. Left the box on top of it. Right about there. And I can, of course, always kind of squish these in together if I need to more later, but right about there. Number 5. This is actually probably wider than I need, but I'd rather have more than I need than not enough. Okay. That's a really wide armor. Kind that throws off my alignment of the ones above it if they're too wide. That one's also really wide too. Alt tab, you dumb thing. Thank you. Okay. That one's really not wide, so it actually kind of lines things up nicely. Still kind of funky looking. Looks a little off to me. I'm going to have to probably shift these all over just a little bit. Get them a little bit closer together. Not a lot, just a little, so that these right-hand side armors match up a little bit better. I may actually scoot these over just a little bit too, so they kind of more line up a bit too. Not a lot. There we go. That should be good. Cool. All right. Now let me go grab my elements. Let's do water first. So water was 9, 8, 4. Is that it? I think. 9, 8, and 4. Let me look here. No, there's 5. Duh. No, it is 4. Never mind. Or it is 3, I mean, excuse me. So there's actually 2 air earths in the files. I'm an idiot. This is not air earth. This is air water. Lord. It's the air water raid armor. I named it air earth. It isn't air earth. It's air water, this one here. Duh. Okay, so there actually are 4. I was just being an idiot. So there is actually only 1 air earth, and it's the raid armor. So, which kind of makes sense after a fashion. But it's not that normal in an air month to only have 1 air earth. It's kind of strange. To be honest, to have only 1. But it is what it is. Okay, now we're going to do a new layer. And we're going to paste the water dude here, which is this one. Let's do this one first. Right about there. This one here. About the same. Yeah, a little too close. That one right there. And that one right there. Okay. Now we can do spirit, which is this one here. And this one here. About the same, cool. Then we will do fire, which is this one here. And this one here in the top right. Right about there. And now we have the earth, which is only the one, which is very strange. And then we have just the air left. Cool. Alright. Alrighty, here we go. here. Whoop. Scroll down a little too farther. If I'm dragging a picture and it gets too close to the bottom edge of the screen, it assumes I want to scroll down, and that can sometimes mess things up, as you just saw me almost do. Okay, now we have dual air. And air spirit. There's our elements. Okay. So just a quick breakdown of what I think these are likely going to be, and I'm going to shorten up this side and finish up in just a second, but I wanted to take a brief break here. So, of course, top left, first air earth is going to be raid. That's the only air earth in the files as of now. I don't expect it to change, but who knows. And then we have air spirit next. That's likely going to be a war. And then we have air fire next, which is likely going to also be a war. Unfortunately, off elements is going to happen sometimes. And then we have air water, which is event armor number 1. Air fire next up is likely going to be seasonal. I can't guarantee on these, the seasonals and versus wars. I sometimes get them wrong. I mean, I'm not perfect, obviously, but it's possible that this one may be a seasonal versus this one, but it's not likely. Usually the reskins or recolors are not used as seasonals. They're usually war. Or occasionally raid, like in the case of this one. But I think that's probably seasonal, most likely. The air spirit down here is most likely going to be seasonal. Dual air, of course, is our exclusive. The air water here is going to be the other event armor. And then we have the air water here. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, this is going to be most likely fusion. And then this air water here, of course, is the last one, is our raid armor. So there's kind of a breakdown of what we should be expecting to see. I'm not positive on the air fires. I'm pretty sure on the air spirits, because they're both new. So it could be either or, but it's likely that they're going to use this one at the bottom left as the seasonal, as opposed to this one. Of course, that's not, there's no guarantees, but that's just what it seems like to me. So now we're going to move on to rings and amulets. Let's do amulets first, since they're alphabetically first. Actually, I'm going to do... Actually, no, I can do that. Because this will go right over the top. Okay, good. So we'll do that right about there. Try to keep these in line with each other as I go over. Whoa! Don't do that. No, 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 no. Don't want to zoom it. I want to move it. Almost messed myself up again. There's our spirit. Put it right about the same height-wise as the other one. There's the ring for it. Right about there. Air water would not be... Well, hang on. Let me think. Air month. I thought air month was... I thought air month, the previous exclusive would have been air water. Let me look. I'm going to consult the old wiki, just to be sure. Because I always get this confused in my head for some reason. I always get it wrong initially. And then I go, oh wait, no, that's wrong. Let me go back to season 30-something when they switched. Shieldman's Honor was the last dual air. It was season 30, I think. 29. That was the last season that had an adjacent exclusive. No, it's even farther back than that. There we are. Rainfire Guard was the last one. It was water, fire. So this would be air, water. So the air water was the floating stormer. That was the last seasonal that was dual adjacent elements. So air water would be now fusion when it was previously dual air would have been fusion before, but now it's exclusive. So instead of air water being the exclusive, it's now the fusion. I got that backwards last month. I had the Earth Air listed as seasonal when Earth Airs aren't seasonal. They would have been the previous exclusives. So it's always primary element, and then the next element in the chain is the previously would have been the exclusive. Now it's the fusion. So it's air water is fusion. So this guy, like I said, I'm pretty sure is fusion. pretty sure. Can't guarantee it, of course, because I don't really know for sure, but air water would be fusion, not air earth. That has a humongous ring and amulet set compared to the one next to it. But it's kind of that old versus new sort of feel, like I said. These are the newer style. This one is also kind of newer, but they're not quite as big, sort of. Right about there. And then we have the amulet for the air and fire on the right, which again, this looks more or less just like the shield, but fire colored instead of air colored. And there's the ring, which looks just like I think it was the shoulder, if memory serves. Okay, there's the first row. This one we're going to put right about there. That right about there. Dual air, which is honestly very dual air looking to me. But these two really threw me off. These two amulets really threw me off. Because I thought for sure that one went with this. But it in fact doesn't. This goes with this. Because this kind of more matches up to the color scheme of that one better. And this one matches up more to the shield. So, it did throw me off at first though. There is the amulet for that one. And the ring for that one. The non-golden one. And then we have the amulet. Air is your favorite. Yeah, it's a good looking armor. It's very not air looking though. It has much more color on it than I would think an air would have, because usually it's just kind of more of that clear sort of, white and silver sort of look. But yeah, it's definitely not very air looking. Why do you keep doing that? Alt-tab back to the right window, you dumb thing. Keeps alt-tabbing to the chat window, which is on my other screen over there. for anyone who's watching. My monitor that you're watching is actually there. Okay, you can't see it. There. And the one that has the chat window is there. So they're on opposite screens. Okay. And there we are. So I'm going to shorten this up to about 1350. Or 1350, really? Yeah, I guess so. Cool. That makes it easier. Alright, now we're going to start working on the rest. Do another layer here. Make my little text box doohickey right here. Right about there. I always make these a little bit too big for some reason. Not sure why that is. Just I always have to end up trimming them down a little bit when I'm done. Yeah, we are. That's the only logical explanation. Is that there's a missing armor. Because there is only the one air earth. And that's what like I said, last month is how I got that backwards. I was thinking air month with air earth being seasonal. And it was actually it wasn't, it's fusion. It's earth air. It's fusion for earth month. So there is an armor missing. I'm not sure if they're going to change one of the existing ones or what the plan is. I really don't know. The gold air water. Yeah, so the gold air water up here, the fourth one on the top row and the third on the bottom row are event armors, just like we had for the Year of the Rat, as well as the Halloween event where they had the regular versus the golden. Same basic idea here on those. So I'm assuming we might have an update here in the near future with more armors. So I'll probably end up having to change this with another armor, because right now there's no air earth, because we should have 9 armors normally each month. So we have the exclusive and then 3 seasonals, fusion, raid, war. And in April, let me look at my calendar here. In April, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 weekends like normal. So the final event in April will be the 24th. The next event would be the 1st of May. So it would start the next month. So we are missing 1 armor. Because normally, like I said, we'd have 9 armors total usually. But we have 2 event armors, which means we actually only have 8. So we're missing 1. So I'm assuming we're probably going to have an update at some point. I actually got that box almost perfect. Okay. Now again, on these materials, I really don't know if this is right or not. I'm just going to say it is, because I don't know for sure. So I'm going to say that's one of our crafting materials. And the sword is the other one. My guess is the sword's probably going to be our exclusive material, but I have been wrong on that before in the past. So I might not be right this time either. So there's that. Now we're going to go to our bosses. Drop boss number 1, which is our air and water boss. Right about there. Let me zoom in a bit so I can make sure I get these lined up properly. And boss number 2 is our air and earth boss. I may have to shift these slightly, because they're a little off-center. I do that sometimes. Don't mean to, of course. Not much, though. Okay. So now we're going to get the elements back here again. We got air back to here. There's air. And what about trying to get these to line up exactly where I want them to be. Doesn't always work out perfectly. Okay, now we have air, earth, which is going to be right here. Sorry, wrong side. Just about did it to myself again. Right about there, and then we have air and water, which is right about there. Okay, there's the bosses. So now, it just dawned on me, I may have to have more room on this because I need more room for pets. I haven't recategorized these yet. Did I do it again? Oh, did I just copy and paste instead of cut and paste? I may have done that. I think I probably did. How many images do I have here? I should have 15. Or 20 rather, excuse me. I have 19. Okay. Just a moment, let me go fix my screw up here. Okay, oops, I didn't want to actually open it. I wanted just to scroll through them here. Because it's the air spirit that I got it messed up on. Actually, I may have to open them just to view them. I did copy and paste, I didn't cut and paste. Okay, that's fine then. Just going to briefly glance through these, make sure I didn't mess anything else up. Yep, all looks good to me. Cool. I must have copied and pasted instead of cut and paste. Okay, back to here. Pets. Okay, close you. This one I don't need, but I'm going to leave it where it is. So that's tier 5. I'm going to go back to the images. There's tier 5 right there. So that's number 78. Tier 5. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to name it. That's tier 4, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, that's tier 4. Yeah. 80 is tier 4. And then 79 is tier 3. Skip the unicorns for now. And 82 is tier 2. And then 89 is tier 1. There we go. And for the other ones, I'm just going to name these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I don't know what the plan is for them. I'm just going to name them Unicorn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's also sometimes very difficult for me to tell the colors apart, because I am not traditional colorblind, but I am colorblind after a fashion. Okay, there we go. So these are just the images of the animals themselves. So you can see in the top left, top right corner there, that's what it looks like right there. And the next one, next one, next one, next one. There's actually, hang on, there's one missing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, actually no, there isn't. Never mind. There's 5. I think I'm missing the image of the animal. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I am missing one of the animal images. So the regular pet images, I'm missing one of those as well, looks like. Will any of the pets be useful? I have no idea. You can pretty much guarantee that no new pets will have Shatter Shield for the immediate future. They're eventually going to have the cap on Shatter Shield to where it will stop. I think it's at 214 HP, then it stops shielding, and then it drops. But they're also trying to come up with more viable options as far as pet abilities are concerned. They mentioned one called, like, I think it was called like Poison Attack or something. I can't remember what it was called. They mentioned it on Reddit. But hopefully they're going to come up with more viable options that might work just as well, hopefully, compared to Shatter. So I don't know what the plan is at this point, though. Okay. Back to here. I'm going to do pet number 1, which I'm going to put right up here at the top if I can. Or not right on the top, but close to the top. Get these kind of lined up a little bit. Right about there. And this one right about that, right butted up against it. Just trying to line up the top edge here. Sometimes a little more difficult than it might look. Okay, we want to get that one where it doesn't overlap them, but is kind of just a little bit to the right of center between them. And then same with this one. Not quite up against them. And a little left of center. Right about there. Perfect. So these are the normal pets. I don't know what the plan is for the unicorns. I'm going to do basically the same thing with them. Try to line them up a little bit with the ones above, sort of. Looks pretty good right there. I might not have enough room down here. Probably won't, actually, now that I think about it. I'm going to put these just down along the bottom edge and just put pets in between them. Right about there. Oh, I did the same one again. There we go. That one's clearly a fire pet, but I don't know what the plan is for these. I also don't know. I've had people ask me this also. The ultimate armor, the star metal armor, since it's not element specific, will not get element boosts from the pets. I don't know if they have a plan specifically for that yet, or if they do, they haven't told me. So just in case anybody was curious about that, I have not heard if there is a plan or if they even have any idea what they're going to use for them. I may end up actually having to do what I thought I was going to do, and I might just move these up so I can have room for the unicorns. There we go. I may do it after all. I may move them after all. But I can't butt them up right up against it because I have that right too close there. So I'm going to have to be a little more precise in my movement here. Bottom isn't as important. Kind of trying to line these up again with the ones up above. Right about there. I still don't think I'm going to have enough room. Crap. Well, I would assume the golden one's probably going to be earth. The red one's going to be fire. This one on the far right is likely going to be air, and then water and spirit. I'm just assuming, because it does have kind of a goldish, earthish look to it, like the current dual earth armor for March doesn't look distinctly earth either. It has more of a goldish look to it as well. So I honestly don't know what the plan is there. I may actually have to resize these. These are just a little bit too big to really fit well. Well, let me try this. Let me try something else instead. Go up here, really hug that top edge if I can. The left edge I'm not as concerned about, but I want to really hug that outside edge as much as I can. There we go, that's much better. Much better than the last attempt anyway. Where am I at here? I'm a little too far, let's see. Yeah, I'm a little too far over. I gotta go over that way a little bit. There we go. Okay. And I'm right on top of that horn again. Crap. Okay. I'm gonna move you two then first, since you're what's causing me the issues. These two here are what's actually causing me the issues. Because I keep overlapping that one on the this fourth one. I keep overlapping it. I don't want to. Whoops. What the crap is going on here? What are you doing, you dumb thing? Stop being possessed, computer. Thank you. I got the edge of that. I knew I was going to do that. Move. There we go. Get that out of the way. There we go. One of these days I'm going to get this, I swear. Okay. Now, where are we at here? Right about there, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Right about there. I'm right up on top of that. Okay. Now I can do the same thing with these ones. Hopefully. Ah, crap. Not close enough to the top. I may not be able to fit these in here without resizing this whole thing. Whoops. Did not want to do that. I gotta get a lot closer to that top edge than I originally thought. There just isn't enough room. It's not going to fit. Crap. Okay, we're going to undo all that. Put it back the way it was. Okay, I'm going to leave it the way it was. For now. Which is the cheapest to get? Which EX? Sorry, I'm not sure if I understand the question. Okay, there we go. It's going to have to work for now. Oops, I keep forgetting the color. There we go. Okay. I think, let me save that really quick. Before I move on. Cool. Alrighty. Oh, cape. I didn't do the cape on the exclusive. I gotta do that really fast before I move on. Done that the last few months. I don't want to stop now. Let me edit this. And we're going to resize that to be 450. Make it nice and huge. Exclusives are all pretty much universally the same cost for the most part, mostly because you have to have a minimum of about 1,200 gems, usually, to get the ring and amulet set at the 475 and 350 milestones. So if you don't have at least that much, you can't get the ring and amulet set for it. So what kind of armor lineup you have for raids, how many T20 or higher wars you do, there's a lot of variables there. But I think most people usually factor about 2,500-ish gems for a regular version. You're figuring probably another 1,200-ish, maybe less. So maybe, well, I'd say 2,500-ish for a regular exclusive, and probably between 3,000 and 3,500 for a plus, depending again on your raid lineups and how many wars you do. There are a lot of variables, though, to be honest. So it's hard to say for sure what you really could or could not do. Let me edit that. Nope, wrong one. That one, that's the one I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to grab this one here. Copy. We're going to do a new layer behind it. That might not be enough room. I may have to move this first. Move it up just a little. There we go. I'll paste. That is a humongous cape. Holy crap. Let's see, so that's right about there. That is huge. That is massive. Oops, no, don't do that. I gotta make it into one layer again. What am I doing? Okay, now I can move the entire thing to about, I'm gonna try to get this really close to the edges. So where are we at here? We're at about 410. Let's just do 410 by 410. There we go. Now we're going to have to resize this a lot because it's got to be a lot smaller than it currently is. Let's do 250 by 250. Okay, so this is humongous. It's going to have to probably go right about there. I'll put the cape emblem right here. Or this guy right here, rather, right next to it. Like about like so. Actually, I'm not overlapping that sword at all because I'm in a different layer. Oh, no, I'm not. Crap. New layer. Make another layer so I can put it right over the top of it and not affect it. Okay. Like about like that. Cool, cool. All right. Now, I need another text box right below it, right about here. But in addition to the question that you asked earlier, Angel, I don't go for exclusives, so I don't have any personal experience relating to it. I can only tell you what people have told me, and I don't know how accurate some of that is. So it's entirely possible that it may be significantly cheaper if you already have a significant, or you already have a really good raid lineup. But a lot of people I talk to also spend, you know, hundreds of dollars in a weekend. So I don't know how that's relevant or if it's even relevant at all. So it's hard to say. I can't really tell you for sure because I don't do it myself. So probably not the best person to ask because I don't have a single exclusive armor on any account I've ever had. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, so let me see. I think I'm forgetting something here. Feels like I am. Armors, rings, amulets, bosses, capes, other materials. That's what I was forgetting. I'm going to put these right down here. One right there, about. One right here. And then one right here. Now again, I could be wrong on these materials. This actually could be one of the seasonal materials, this arrowhead. It could actually be the arrowhead in this guy. And now that I think about it, it more likely probably is. And I should probably change that. Let's go back to here, and we're going to undo that one. And I'm going to take this guy from layer 3, and I'm going to move it. Cut. I'm in the wrong layer still, apparently. What is going on here? Okay, let me just see if this deletes. Wrong layer. Okay, that's what I thought. It actually is layer 3. No, it's not. What the? Okay, hang on a second. Let's just do this the easy way. Nope, it's not that one. It's got to be layer 3. I'm having a tough time today for some reason. Delete. It's not deleting. Did I really put it in layer 4 and I just didn't realize it? I did. God damn. Okay. Don't mind me while I derp excessively. Good lord. Okay, we're going to jump back out to here. Take it back down here to the bottom. Oops, not bottom. Thank you. Like about like that. And then I'm going to try to move these guys by themselves up into the center here, sort of that little opening. And then I'll put other materials down here below it. That was the last Water. The Ring and Amulet set was essentially free because it was in a Blitz raid. Don't expect that, unfortunately, anytime soon. That was kind of like a Christmassy, sort of New Year's-y sort of gift to players. They're almost always in Blitz Wars. Like, I think there's been 10% or less of the exclusive Armor, Ring, and Amulet sets have been in Blitz raids. So I wouldn't count on it, unfortunately. Okay, let's go back to layer 4 and paste this puppy right here. I'm thinking it probably is this. I don't know for sure, but it seems like now that I look at it, it makes more sense for them to be those two than it would be for these. Because Arrowhead, being on an arrow that flies through the air, makes more sense. A sword cutting through the air makes more sense. This thing, whatever that is, I don't think really kind of fits the motif, the theme of the other ones. You've got this die here that's very much chance. So it makes sense for it to be next to, you know, like an April Fool's sort of thing. I just don't know what this is. So, anyway, let's make another box here. Box. Okay, what is going on here? Still had something selected, apparently. I didn't make that box anywhere near big enough. Man, I'm on one tonight. Holy cow. Okay, that's a little bit better. I'm going to put a question mark on the end of that because I'm not positive it actually is. That all of them are. They probably are. But I'm just going to put that there as a question mark because I'm not positive that they are in fact all for the event, or if only some of them are. Okay. Cool, cool. I think I'm mostly done other than the text I need to put above there. So let's really quickly save again. Go into here. Go to the very back layer. Oh, I still have something selected. And there we are. Cool, cool. Okay, so like I said earlier, raid, war, event, seasonal, exclusive, event, fusion, raid. So we are still missing an armor, but for the time being, this is what we have. I'd imagine probably in the next week or so, maybe 10 days, I should have updated information or at least be able to let people know what's going on. So yeah, the hat definitely makes sense for the event because it matches up with the head of the armors. And the dice, you know, being kind of more chance related kind of makes more sense too. I just don't know about this kind of globe looking thing, this like ornament looking thing. Okay, so before I move on, before I do anything else, go to here, zoom in. I hate when it does this. Stupid thing. Stop that. This is April 2020. Had a feeling that was going to happen. I'll just delete the beginning of this. That'll work. And I'm going to put in a slightly larger right here, if it'll fit. It might not. Oops. I need to make that centered, not left, not right aligned. And now I'm going to go here, zoom in. Make that a little glowy so it sticks out. Now I'm going to go to here. And this is 5th armor. So this is 2nd row, 5th armor. For that one. The other one is 1st row, 1st armor. I may have to shrink that down. I don't know why I didn't think of that. 28. Let's do 26 actually, just to be safe. A little smaller. And there we go. All done. So, looks like a witch's pot, like a cauldron. Yeah, it could be. Kind of also looks a bit like a perfume bottle, sort of, really. But anyway, that's it. So thanks everyone for joining in again, as usual. I appreciate it. I like to mention this occasionally, but I frequently forget. The bottom of the Twitch page, directly below the viewing window, there should be a donate button if you feel so inclined. That would be awesome. I appreciate it, but I do not expect it, so don't feel like you're obligated to do it. But I'll go ahead and save this, put it up on KnD bot, send it out the usual ways. If you have any questions or anything beyond that point, of course, holler at me. Line ID, of course, is right there. But yeah, that's it. Everyone have a great rest of your week. I guess it's Tuesday for me, so Tuesday night. So anyway, thanks everyone. Have a great evening or day, as the case may be. Thanks.